Good afternoon / evening. Welcome to the drive on Destinta Drive. My name is Dion, and I'm driving home. They offered overtime at work, so I stayed late, so that's why it's dark out. And so I'm driving home in the dark. It's White Shirt Wednesday, so I'm wearing my white shirt. And I want to talk about a movie. Now, usually I talk about movies on Monday, but today I'm going to talk about a specific movie. If you were to say, hey Dion, what's your all-time favorite movie? I'd say, forget it. I don't have an answer for you. I just don't have an all-time favorite movie. But if you said, Dion, what's one of your favorite movies? And I would say the Rocky Horror Picture Show, seen in a movie theater with an energetic crowd that knows what they're doing. Now, you're probably going, why are you talking about that movie? Oh, by the way, see these beautiful lights? They show up every holiday season right after Thanksgiving. I don't know if you can see them. I hope you can. Anyway, so the Rocky Horror Picture Show is this wonderful film that's based on a play that's called The Rocky Horror Show. And it was written by a man named Richard O'Brien, who actually plays Riff Raff in the movie. And what he wanted to do was take his love of musicals and his love of schlocky 50s films and combine them into one thing. And he created this play called The Rocky Horror Show. And it was very popular in England, and they brought it to Hollywood, and it was very popular in Hollywood. In fact, it played at the Roxy Theater in Hollywood. And eventually, someone said, hey, we should make this into a movie. It will be fabulous because everybody loves the play. Well, it was horrible. And nobody liked it. And it really did very, very poorly at the box office initially. And so what ended up happening was it became a midnight movie show. And people would go see it in the middle of the night. And it was just kind of this thing that people went to see in the middle of the night. Somewhere along the way, somebody yelled something during the film, and that was the birth of the audience participation. Some people credit that to Sal Piro, who once upon a time was the, and I'm assuming he still is, if he's still alive. I really haven't followed that stuff in a long time. He was the leader, the president of the Rocky Horror Picture Show fan club. And so the reason I'm talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show is that I went to see it this past Friday night at one of the local movie theaters here in Madison. And it's very interesting to me because Madison only shows it sporadically. Some place in Madison will decide to show it maybe at Halloween, maybe at Valentine's Day. This time they chose to do it on Black Friday because they wanted, it was, black, garters and bustiers. They're black. Leather is black. At least the kinky kind. And so I went to go see it, and I've seen Rocky Horror here in Madison 2 or 3 times, including this past visit. And what I know about Madison and Rocky Horror is that you need to have an audience who sees the movie on a regular basis to have a successful show. Now, when I say that, I'm not trying to take away from the originality that comes from the audience, because that's very, very important, that there is new material that comes from the audience that is relevant and good, but there also comes from an audience that's experienced almost a script, a dialogue that occurs from the audience to the film and from the film to the audience. And that script comes from repetition over many weeks, and it's great. I think it's wonderful when it's done right. And you can see it in Connecticut, and you'll get one response to a certain bit of dialogue. You see it in LA, you'll get another bit of dialogue to the same, the audience dialogue to the same piece in the movie. So you get this different feeling, but when you go see it with an inexperienced audience or an audience that has a few experienced people, it's not as fluid. It's not as enjoyable because you got, me yelling out one thing and the guy up in the balcony yelling another thing, and the girl who is doing her thing, she's, it's kind of it really is an experience that comes from experiencing it consistently. And so when I saw it, I was kind of disappointed because, here's this inexperienced audience. Now, the other part of the Rocky Horror Picture Show that I've always enjoyed, and I think is probably one of the best things that happens, is when you have a cast. And a cast means a group of people who love characters in the movie, so much so that they've designed costumes, they dress up like them, and then, one step further, they actually perform what's happening in the movie below the screen while the movie's taking place. And that was something I was expecting to see here in Madison the other night, but I didn't. What happened the other night was there were a couple folks who introduced the show. They did the Rocky Horror Pledge for Madison, which was nice. They had their own pledge. And then they were pretty much done. There wasn't a Brad and a Janet acting out. There wasn't a Rocky or Dr. Frankenfurter acting out, getting naked-ish before the screen. I look forward to the time when my kids are old enough that I can go with them to the Rocky Horror Picture Show with an experienced audience and have that experience with them. And, they get to see this aspect of their dad shouting in the movie theater in the middle of the night, which is very ironic because, if my kids go to the movies with me, they know we sit and we watch the film quietly. And if you watch a movie with my home, that's the way it is. You watch a movie quietly. You may talk a little bit, but you don't interrupt the presentation because that's important to me. But Rocky Horror, conversely, the presentation is you. So, what I'm saying is that I wish there was a theater here in Madison that would embrace the idea of doing it on a regular basis, meaning every Friday night, every Saturday night. It doesn't matter. And that they can foster that audience, they can foster a cast, and even more importantly, they can create their own Madison dialogue, their own script for the movie that is consistent. And you can always go and say, hey, I know we're going to say this at this time. And, the random guy who comes up with something new, definitely, I like that. But it's hard to see it when you don't have an audience that knows what they're doing because they've gone 100 zillion times. So, there you go. I love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I just wish that there was a experience here in Madison that was consistent. There's a movie theater supposedly being built in the town I live in, Sun Prairie, and if they do build that theater, I hope that the most nearest closest theater, which is actually kind of a dive, becomes a dollar house, and then subsequently embraces the idea of doing midnight shows. And it doesn't have to be Rocky Horror Picture, but it would be nice if there was something like that here in Madison, and there just isn't. So, there you go. Hey, thanks for watching the drive today. I would love to express some joy to the people who I've gone to see Rocky Horror with. That would be my friend Charity, Patrick Cronin, Cassie Mitchell, my little brother Chris, Danny Garnica, Robert, what's Robert's last name? Robert Griggs, and let's see, those are the main people I can think of off the top of my head. Gordon Moses, I went to Rocky Horror with. May he rest in peace. But Rocky Horror, good stuff. If you have a Rocky Horror in your town, and you are of a mature or age, meaning you're not stupid and 13, but hey, I think that a 13-year-old could learn a lot from that movie. Wow, could they learn a lot from that movie. Interesting little tidbit before I finish up. Rocky Horror Picture Show only has one cuss word in it. It's the F word, and it is sung, and if you're not paying attention, you will not actually hear it. There's actually no pink nudity. That means you're not seeing lots of, naked people. There are no actual naked people. There are two scenes when you see one woman, same woman, her nipples pop out on accident. And very interesting trivia about that. So, but great music. I mean, fun to sing along to. So, anyway, I will wrap up for today. Thanks for watching me on the drive today. My name is Dion once again. And please share on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. And until next time, make sure you buckle up and drive safe.